So yeah, we've got Yui Boll coming on, and he is going to have a chat to us. Tom wants to play him. This is racist, but I don't think we should. Oh, he's here now.
So I'm here.
Beautiful.
G'day.
How you
going, you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Beautiful.
Okay, very good. Thanks for having me. So,
thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? We'll play the trailer of Citizen Vigilante, which I've got ready for once, and then we'll start talking about it.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Action. The truth is this. You are all being used.
The vigilante citizen is delivering a brand of justice that some believe the authorities have failed to provide, targeting both criminals and those in power accused of allowing crime to flourish unchecked.
There's been a lot said about me, so I thought you should hear directly from me. I'm here to help you take that control back. The state, court, police. See, you think that they've failed you, but they haven't. No, they only exist to control you. Do you want justice?
Yes.
Let's get some fresh blood. You walk down the street and you get stabbed or robbed.
He's a real hero.
We need more guys like this.
What does your country do? Nothing.
Our current system is failing to protect our citizens.
He's like the real deal.
He's playing with us.
What if everything they ever taught you was utter nonsense? We can change history.
So.
Very good.
Thanks. And soon in Australia also, right? So the releases are getting prepped, what is very good. And I think you're the first Australian outlet interviewing me. And Quiver, the distributor, they told me already there will be more interviews to follow. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Well, that's the first coup we've ever got. Exclusive on What the Fuck.
Yeah. So, we've got to warn you, we've been shut down a few times, and I was worried that there was something going on today, but we've got a power surge and we've got storms here in Williamstown where I'm at. I'm in Melbourne and Wayne is in Queensland, and PJ is in Melbourne as well, but he's a bit further up. So are you getting any storms up there?
Yeah, it's wet, but it's nothing serious yet. But I looked at the radar because Joe wanted to go for a walk, and I advised her not a good idea.
Yeah.
Because it's got a team down.
We have great weather here in Germany actually right now, so it's very, very nice here. So, and not too hot anymore. It was very hot. You saw all that fires in Spain and in France, right?
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's dry here too, but I think it's still not in danger that everything starts burning down here. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. How is it? Do you think it's climate change? Sorry.
No, I always said to in a podcast a few weeks ago, I started with Greta was always right. Like you have one hot week and then everybody's already like, see, it's all true. So I mean, that's the crazy thing. Yeah. I always question this kind of like where they actually, when they always say that was the hottest year ever. So I think it's totally like they go there and measure the temperature as soon it's hot. Like
Yeah.
going to the hot places so that they every year have a new record. Like even in years where you had like total rain and you feel like, for example, here in Germany this year, before June, you could not even sit outside and have a dinner outside or something. It was really cold. It was total rainy, and I'm almost 6 months, right? So, and in other years, in April, you can sit already on the patio and having a barbecue. So, but I'm sure at the end of this year, they will report again that it was the hottest year ever
Yes.
Of course.
on the record. So it's so absurd in a way, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, global warming I can deal with. It's the next ice age I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we already love you, mate, because you're thinking the same way we are. So yeah, but that's why I've been shut down a couple of times, and I was thinking maybe we're already getting shut down. But just a question right off the bat: how did you get into films? I think you've got something like 40 films on your resume.
Yeah, I started in Germany, and then I recognized it's not my country to make movies. I have to go to America. I mean, in Germany, you only have dramas and, really stupid comedies. And so in the year 2000, I went to the US and did a movie, Sanctimony, like a serial murder cop movie, basically. That was the first movie I did with Caspar Van Dien, Eric Roberts, Michael Paré, and then I kept going basically with more genre action, and then I did that video game based movies, House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark. That was kind of, I got the worst reviews ever for that movies, but I made the most money ever on that movie. So, and that was basically the lucky draw that I started doing this kind of video game based movies, who are now in today's time non-stop, so I was kind of a front runner starting this trend, and then they of course attacked me for it. But now, I mean, you have video game based movies left and right every day, basically.
Yeah.
And a lot of your earlier movies are now becoming, cult classics, or at least very talked about. So it must feel good, at least, to get a little bit of vindication in that area.
Yeah, and I mean, the mainstream kind of reviewers, they never liked any of my movies. They basically, then on the video game based movies where they had to review them because they came in the movie theaters. So every movie I did also after this got the same reviews, basically. But the audience were always, they liked the movies. If you go on Amazon and you check the audience score, most of my movies have like 4 out of 5. So there's a huge split. And now with Statistica Vigilante, massive too, right? 11 whatever percent rating from the reviewers, but 92% audience rating, like 92% positive. And I think on Amazon in the US is 80% 5 out of 5 from the voting.
Yeah.
And that counts, that for me, the audience counts, and not these reviewers who, the shit they like, I will never be able to make this. And I just couldn't do it, So, and that's the thing where I, a long time ago, emotionally split from this. It's not like in the beginning, you're always mad and you, fuck, I want a good review, whatever. But then after a few years, you feel like, nah, whatever, I'm not reading it anymore. Yeah.
When was the last time these reviewers bought a box office ticket?
Exactly. They get free screeners, free tickets. They don't spend any money for it. And in a way, they of course also bribed from the big studios, right?
Yeah,
so when they want that invite to the premiere with the dinner and all that stuff, so they're very careful in trashing Supergirl or trashing The Odyssey, or all these massive $200 million movies. they're scared to do it because then they could suffer direct consequences. And also, like all these big movies, also they do ads. They book ads in the newspapers and everywhere, and they're not booking an ad in the New York Times for 40 grand if they get a review like 1 out of 5. It's like, it's like they make sure even a shit movie gets an okay review.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why the audience splits are so different. When you look on Amazon and Rotten Tomatoes, the audience and the critics are very often very split, like you said, with across the board. So there's a disconnect. I think the music industry is very similar in that the industry sort of pays off people to play certain music and sort of hide the other stuff.
Yeah, and when you see also who owns Rotten Tomatoes, I Googled it. I think it's Universal and another studio. They actually own it.
Oh, wow.
So we have to Google it again. But so because I was always interested, like, so who owns this website or this website or this website? IMDb, who owns IMDb, right? So and we checked on IMDb my movies, and a lot of times when you just count the numbers, I would have like whatever was a movie 6.3, but they devalue. In my case, at least, people, they vote 10 or 9, they devalue it, and my average score is lower as they actually score you would just put in your calculator. What is totally insane. It's like you come to an average of 6.4. If you just every vote, you count the full vote, and I got only 5.2 or something like this. It's really like. Trump would always say it's rigged. Yeah, but it is rigged because it's just kind of like it's almost absurd. Like you feel like that. Not a lot of people want to see this. They don't react to it in a way they should react.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's exactly the same as our politicians can give us pie charts and percentages, but they can't give us a dollar figure.
Yes. I mean, look at all the political stuff, how they flipped completely out about Citis Vigilante, all the websites and all this stuff. And yesterday we had that attack, or 2 days ago, at that Christopher Street Day in Berlin, where the guy drove into the crowd. It's not the first time that stuff like this happens. But today, Merz, the chancellor, who's basically doing speech after speech, and basically blames also the people who make jokes about transgender. Right?
Oh, wow.
So, and it's so totally, it's so off. It's completely fucking bullshit, right? So there is a huge difference between somebody makes a joke about transgender or an Afghanistan Islamistic fundamentalist wants to kill gays. Because that people, they don't have humor and they don't make jokes. They just want to kill them, right? So, and instead of blaming now directly the threat from Islamistic crazy people, they try to divide it up, to cover up their whole migration policies and saying like, no, the migration is the best thing whatever happened to us. And that's the thing. It's so absurd. Like when you bring all the facts to the table, they completely ignore you. And they just, I had so many podcasts in Germany when I didn't get the rating and whatever. And I had podcasts with people, they hated Citizen Vigilante. And they were like, no, it's not true, Uwe. Germans do the same amount of crimes like migrants. And I said, yeah, but Germans are 80% of the population and the migrants 20, and they do the same amount of crimes. I have all the statistics, right? So, and then it's also, the point is, what crime? If you just have crimes, there is tax evasion, whatever, like car theft. Yeah, that's a huge difference between stabbing people in the inner city or a gang rape girls in the park at midnight. It's are different crimes. And these random crimes are the real threat for the normal population. If you cannot stand in the subway anymore without like, okay, maybe that guy tries to push me into the thing, into the ditch, so I have to go far away from the edge and stuff like this. All this stuff is the result out of mass migration out of these countries.
Yeah.
The Christmas markets are now a fortress in Germany. Like when I grew up, there was not one security thing at any fair Christmas market or whatsoever. It was just like completely unknown that somebody could run amok in a Christmas market. And I mean, and to act like that has nothing to do with the migration, that's absurd. That's almost like really like ridiculous. A brain, like, when they always say the right wings are brainwashed by the algorithm, they watch too much, whatever, but they are completely brainwashed. They don't want to have the facts. They completely blind out the reality. What is not like what they don't want to be true, then they're like, they don't want that it's true. And especially with the LGBTQ community, that they work together with all that Islamistic communists and everything that's like one big group, right? They all went away from, by the way, also like Greta, right? At one point, climate change was kind of, okay, fuck it. Now it's all free Gaza. And then they all started this kind of like, we're all loving now the Islam.
Yeah.
And, but all these people would get killed. If the Sharia law rules Europe, they are the first guys who are getting just like butchered, and that's it for them. So, and that's the thing that's so absurd. I just don't get that. How, if you're a transgender or gay, how can you be pro-Islam? Like,
it makes no sense.
No.
That's how blinded by their own bullshit they are.
Hey, can I
delusional.
I'm just going to play a little clip that backs up exactly what you were saying. This is actually spot on with what you just said, that instead of blaming the guy the Islamist who drove into the Pride Parade in Berlin, they're blaming the guys that are making the jokes about it now. Here you go, watch this.
I'm really sick of this. I'm getting really tired of having to repeat myself over and over again. So today, in Berlin, there was an attack. A van drove through a crowd of people celebrating Berlin Pride Parade that they have every year. It's a huge parade. It's one of the biggest. And they injured, I think, at this time I'm making this video, this is subject to change, 17 people, and one person is dead. Okay, so it's a breaking story. There are going to be things that are going to come out and change throughout the life of the story, average. So the suspect is an Islamic extremist. That's their suspect right now. That's what I read, okay? I'm not going to say anything about the rest of the Muslim population because of actions of this one person. But what I can say is the people who were celebrating about this were all white men, young white men, with crosses in their profiles. Because we've all seen it. We've all seen how you guys react towards gay people and how you wish harm on them constantly. I get a constant hate on my videos, especially about trans people. You're not going to hide behind another scapegoat group and pretend that they're actually the violent ones when it's you. You hold the same exact beliefs that this man who did this attack did. And you're trying to distance yourself from it. And you know why you're trying to do that? Because you're ashamed. And you should be.
So she said, I'm not going to generalize. And then she said it was only white men.
Yeah, exactly.
Generalized.
No, but that's
it is
thing, right?
Yeah, do you want to comment on that? But it's like they are basically so brainwashed that even though he's the guy that killed everyone, it's the guys making jokes. And I don't condone. I've seen it that people are making jokes, but it's basically they're going, I told you so. This would happen. But instead of going, fuck, you've got a point, they go, well, you guys are laughing about it now, so it's all your fault. You guys started this. But it's the Islamic religion. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh either. But it's the Islamic religion that does not want LGBTQ people to be alive. We don't care. We do not care, but you're pushing it down our throat. And now, instead of going, okay, fuck, we were wrong, Islamist religion is a problem, it's your fault. It's the white men, right wing. Now you're right.
For telling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it crosses on your profile. So it's white Christian males that are the issue that causes Islamic men to drive vans into crowds of gay people. All right. Well, you've all heard. I've got no problem with any of the alphabet people, but I can't see why these people are a gang.
No, and look, they are, like in England especially, also controlling political positions now. They, you know, and in New York, the Mamdani guy, whatever, right? So they are acting always peaceful to the outside, but when you actually hear what they saying in the mosque, in these people also, right? So we will control, we get more kids, we take over, blah blah blah. They say this openly, and you know, and that's the thing where I draw the line. I have friends that are Muslims, but they're here for 25 years. The Turkish people working here, whatever, they're not radical, you know. They and that's also in the whole migration talk is like, I think also what in Germany, the AfD, the political party, what is now by far the biggest party in Germany, and they still try to disallow the party, right? So because it's a threat for them that they rule in Germany, right? So, but they're basically not more right as the Christian Democrats were under Helmut Kohl before Merkel. Like, you know, they are like a conservative party, and the CDU, like Merz, and before even also Merkel, when now they are more left as the Social Democrats were 25 years ago. They're just all the same. You know, the Social Democrats, the Left Party, the Green Party, the CDU are all the same bullshit. They do everything wrong in Germany, and the people recognizing this, and now they all vote for the AfD. What makes sense? And, you know, and that's the thing. But then they say, no, they are Nazis, they are fascists, blah, 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 blah. And then you feel like, yeah, but where? Like, you think the AfD wants Hitler Part 2 and opens concentration camps, whatever? Like, even the Jewish population in Germany said the only party we recommend to vote for is the AfD, because they would protect the Jews. You know, if you live in Berlin and you're a Jew and you put like a cappy on or whatever, you're toast. Like, go in the subway, you will see what happens to you in Berlin. If you visible Jewish, you know, you're not safe at all. And that's the thing. It's completely insane, basically, how this kind of facts don't matter anymore, and now it's all wishful thinking. And I mean, we are all here a little older already, you know, and how I grew up, I never questioned logic. I never questioned, and I think the politicians, how I grew up with, even if they were left or right, they were all accepting the facts, but they made different solutions, right? The Social Democrats were a little more like, look, we need the union stronger, blah, blah, blah. And the other guys were saying, you need the entrepreneurs, you have to help the economy, you know, like that they're creating more jobs. The typical classic, like, you know, like Marx against capitalism, basically. But you never questioned these people that they're completely out of their fucking minds. You know, and I think that's my problem now, where you listen to this and you feel like, how can you not see this, that what you just said is completely bullshit and has nothing to do with the reality, you know? And I even, when I was the podcast line with the more left-wing media in Germany, I put all the numbers out there, right? So the official numbers, and the official numbers are already a little doctored, you know, like from the police or whatever. They try to doctor it that the right wing looks bad, but there were 1,100 right wing violent crimes last year in Germany, 1,100, but they were like registered, right? So it means, but that was mostly like throwing a stone in the window, having a fight on the street, but not murder, right? There was like that. There was not a visible
Yeah.
right-wing guy murdering somebody or raping somebody. So, but you had 11,000 anti-far left-wing crimes registered, you know,
Yeah.
and then you had registered from the migrants 940,000 crimes.
Far
And
out.
it's 45% of all the crimes are done by migrants, you know, and people not from Germany who came, who are a little longer. So, but that's not the facts. And this is the fact from the fact from the government from now, who doesn't want that. They don't want that. These are the facts, right? But at least the police and the organizations and the courts registering it in a okay way. And I mean, how can you not react to this? How can you just sit there and say, we have absolutely no problem, get half Afghanistan shipped here? You know, like where you think like,
Yeah, more.
yeah. And that's the thing what drives me completely insane, you know, and you cannot have this kind of situation to let people in who say, look, we're coming here, we will only get social welfare, we never work, our women have to have the burqa on going through the inner city, we give a fuck about your laws, and at one point we will just take over and kill you. And they say that, you know, and you're like,
They
look,
openly
that
say
sounds
that,
good
yeah.
for me. That sounds good for me. Let's continue with it. I mean,
More,
but
please.
that's the absurd world we're living in, where you say you listen to what the guy just said, and they reacting like that girl from the video you play.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we've had migration and mass migration in this country for 200 years, and it's worked so well. Ask the Aboriginals.
Yeah.
They're pretty happy with the mass migration.
The only thing that makes sense to me for the politicians on how they would be able to ignore the facts is if they want to. I don't think it's an accident. I feel like they're ignoring it because I think they want society to be in a bad way so they can push more laws through while people are in chaos. Or I mean, there's no other real reason except for they want it, because there's no way you can see those numbers that you just told us and think, no, that's okay, let's get more. That does not make sense. That doesn't make sense. So there's the only real other thing is they're that stupid that they don't understand, which is also bad, or they want it to happen on purpose for whatever reason.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. What is the biggest crisis in my brain, right? The biggest crisis in my brain is this kind of what drives them to do this. You know, like if you have an individual person, you could say, look, he gets money from somebody and he's just whatever, following orders, right? So, but how can you, with the same information, like what I have, what everybody had, who can just Google shit, is how, with the same information, you come to the following conclusion: there is no problem, and let's have more. And you know, and we're going bankrupt on this. We have 5 million people now in Germany, like just on social welfare, making like $2,000 a month, and then getting free healthcare, free schools for the kids. Then they have 6 kids, getting 6 times $300 more for the kids. You know, like, and Germans. The average German make $4,000 full working every year, every month. So, and then the average worker who is a carpenter or whatever, plumber, he feels like, okay, so I work my ass off and get in the very end, the end of the month, basically $200-300 more as these other guys who do nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and then they tell the retirement age has to go higher. All of this happened in Germany last year already, right? So where they're like, okay, you have to work longer, you can't, you know, like to get your pension and all this shit. And the people are not reacting to it. You know, I mean, to not see that, of course, they have to work longer, they have to pay higher taxes, because we're shipping our money outside of Germany or whatever, like or inside to migrants. We helping the whole world, giving NGOs. When we just Germany just wired, I think 450 million to Gaza, like all this shit. Where you think like, why we do this? You know, like why this kind of idea to say, by the way, you are ruling, you are the government, you are there to protect Germany and Germans, and not having like putting the money everywhere and Germans last. You know, just that's just so idiotic that
It makes about as much sense as our government throwing $100 million to stop Islamophobia and another $100 million to stop Zionists. You know what I mean?
To stop,
Jewish hate crimes.
Stop Jewish hate
million
crime.
each.
Yeah, here you go.
$100 million each.
So anti-Semitic and anti-Islam speech, we've spent $200 million on. Australia's also sent in the realm of $200 or $300 million over to Gaza throughout the last few years. And we ask the same question: why? What are we getting out of this?
It's taxpayers' money going to people who don't pay tax.
No, and then they're digging more tunnels so they can put more like Gucci bags in what they buy with NGO money. I mean, think about when they went into these tunnels where this one Hamas guy was with his wife, and they had like hundreds of millions of cash, right? And she had like tons of like Birkin bags and shit like this. I mean, why they have all that money? You know, so that's stolen money. So this kind of help for the poor people, it never worked. It's the same like when Germany paid last year, there's always a report. So we paid bicycle lanes in Peru. You know, like, and then you think like, I saw the German schools falling apart, the bridge is falling apart, and we paid bicycle lanes in Peru. I don't know why Peru needs bicycle lanes, but I never pictured Peru being now all e-biking only through the mountains. I mean, you know, where you feel like, what the fuck? And of course, the answer is very simple. There is a maybe German construction company. They get the money. And that's a clear bribe, right? So they have whatever, like an out thing in Latin America. They say, look, we need a little more money there, a little more jobs. Then they're getting German taxpayers' money, and then they're covering it up as third world help or aid or, you know, development money. And it's all these NGOs and this kind of like aid, 80% of it will be in the pockets of the people they filed for the aid, and maybe 20%, if you're lucky, goes to the help, you know, like to the whatever the kids starving or something. 80% gets completely sucked up from whatever, you know, like the people they just do like give me 10 million bucks and they help poor people in Africa, and then he pockets aid. Or his company pockets aid. So it's a total waste of money, and that I think that's the key issue. You know, that it's the governments and all this stuff. A lot of times, it's poor corruption and the buddy system, and I helped you 5 years ago. Now you help me out, and it's all happening with taxpayers' money. You know.
You know what? I watched the Patrick Bet-Davis interview with you.
Yeah.
And you were talking about this very project with Peru. We've got the same thing. I think it was 150 million was sent to Fiji to help them with their oil problem because they weren't getting petrol. So $150 million was sent to Fiji.
That's better than bike park though.
Yeah.
What about the Fijis? Do the Papua New Guineans have bike paths? Maybe they can send them some more money to get some bike paths.
Once we finish paying for the rugby league team.
Yes. That was another 100 million or 50 million.
Yeah.
But I think it's also what I see, what I feel is this, like from my perspective as a German. My parents were born 1933, so they were kids at the Second World War. So they were not like in the war, basically fighting. And my grandfathers were both in the war in Russia at the front and came back like 2 years after the war, like in an, of course, catastrophic shape and horrible, like starved out and all that stuff. And then then them and the generation of my parents, they rebuilt Germany and created the wealth. Like not my parents, we were never rich or something, but they created all together this kind of the German industry back and made Germany the European #1 country. So, but now the people born, and I respect this. I'm born 65, so I'm only 20 years after the Second World War born, and I saw all that development when I grew up. So and I think, but now basically the generation of my children, or the children born in the year 1990, 2000, they think everything is whatever God given. It will be there. My Frappuccino will be there no matter what happens. My life with the iPhone will be there no matter what happens. We cannot get poor again. We cannot, and they lost track. I think they're also driven only by moral, not anymore by you have to work hard, you have to make some money, you have to survive. My parents was crystal clear that if I don't make it myself, there is no parachute. When I see now the generation, they think like, whatever, I'm 18, buy me a car. I had a VW Beetle I bought for $600 myself and had to repair it the whole time, and worked to make any money. And I think that's the main issue. That's that main issue also of that pink hair girl we saw, that they think their lifestyle is guaranteed. And if they don't make it themselves, then the government or somebody else just have to give it to them. So they think also we should give it to the poor people from Africa. We should give it to the refugees from any country. We should have open borders and nothing will happen to us. And they're not aware, like, there will be things happening to us. If we continue that route, we go down the drain together with everybody else.
It's the old saying that, hard men bring good times and soft men bring hard times. Simple as that. A generation of soft people are going to bring hard times, and they just don't realize it yet.
No, but when the accelerator is too much, you will not turn it around anymore.
No.
That's also the reason I did Citizen Vigilante, because I know nobody would make a movie like this. Nobody would get subsidies. Everybody will hate the person who will do a movie like this. That's the reason I did it, because I felt, look, we need to shock these people, like in this way, like, guys, at one point you have a battle for existence. At one point it's over, like, and then it's like not violent anymore, then it will be violent, and then it will be a struggle for survival, and and that's, I think, it's what they don't get. They also don't get this kind of they have no experience with violence, right? I mean, I boxed for
no real violence.
years. I have guns in Canada, in Germany. I'm a shooter. Whatever I shot in South Africa, the Tunnel Rats, the Vietnam War movie. I did tons of movies with violent stuff. And I did a 3 years documentary about the Banditos motorcycle gang, who I know everybody. So I'm at least, let's say, personally not. I was in dangerous situations. I had fights, whatever. So, but a lot of people, they never experienced anything like this. They're pampered the whole time and they have no fucking clue from nothing. And that's a huge problem too. If you talk to people, and then they're totally, of course, completely, let's say, when violence happens, they're completely stunned. They are like, whatever, total victims. And how many videos you watch where kids get bullied from migrants, right? Where the migrants, they hit them in the face and they don't even defending themselves. They're not like, there's no answer to it because they're totally overwhelmed by fear and, and then they're just victims.
Yep.
And that's all, like, for me personally, hard to watch. And and when I answer to, like, when the Army Hammer says to his family in the end scene of the film, where he says, "Look, I think they're not the best people from your country coming over." So that line.
Yes, that's a great scene.
Yes, and then I got so criticized for this. I'm a racist fucking prick, blah blah blah. And I said, okay, so here's this. I can show you 500 videos where people in all of Germany saying we'll take over, we kill everybody, Sharia law for everybody, German girls are sluts, and you have no problem with any of that videos. But if I make a fictional film, like a not documentary, a fictional film, where a guy says, maybe not the best guys from your country's coming over, you flip completely out. But is that not the fact based on the criminal statistic? Is that not the fact, right? So, and it was interesting actually when the movie was basically live on X, and people I got various emails from Iran. What is interesting? So like, and I thought, okay, now I get a fatwa on me. Like, you open, you see the Iranians saying you're toast, Boll, now we kill you. But it was exactly the opposite. And they were not Iranian opposition people. They were Iranian, like, mullah people, like they are now in kind of the government of Iran. And they said,
yes,
it's a great movie, and we agree, we would kill everybody of them.
No.
Yeah.
They would, and they said, like, if here somebody rapes a woman, like 8 guys rape a woman, they're dead the next day. And that's also a thing, I think, what all this woke left people don't get is real, like, in that Muslim countries and radical, like hardliner countries, they would never let this shit happen. What happens in our cities, like when a guy flips out and drives into a crowd, whatever that guy would be, the head would be chopped off. Like, it would be like, okay, death penalty, that's it. So, and that's the thing. It's like, also the people have no experience on the bigger side, political side, that they don't even, these people who are in Western Europe and so on, they don't have any support in their home countries. There are the worst people who came over. And of course, they lied with everything. They said, I'm a political refugee. Total bullshit. There is this 1 out of 1,000 is maybe a real political refugee out of a country. They're all coming because they know they have a better life in Europe and can do whatever the fuck they want and get money for free. That is why they come. That's the fact.
And there won't be the death penalty for raping and doing anything. They'll get a slap on the wrist, and they can keep doing what they would never be able to do in their own countries.
Exactly. The behaviour wouldn't be tolerated back home.
Yes.
That's why they do it there. That's why they do it here.
Yeah. And that's the thing, And when you ask why they don't, like, if you go in a different country, you have to play by the rules of that country. So you cannot, like, I always bring this joke in a way when it's like, if I would move to Saudi Arab, I'm not opening a nudist beach. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you go and you adjust to the rules there. You're not opening a strip club in Tehran. So, because then you're dead. And that's the thing. I think that's the point. It's like, you need to accept, now I left my country because my country is shit. So now I hope in the new country, it will be better, and I adjust to the new country. And I think that's the absurd thing we are living in, that they are coming and then they bring all the bullshit from their country into our country and don't want to adjust, but they still want the car, the iPhone. They want all the good shit, like what would they have fun with, and better apartments, better water system and all this stuff, better food. They all want this, but they don't want to adjust their private family religious lifestyle at all. They look down to Christians. They look down to the society they're coming in. They think they're like basically, they look down to the population in not accepting this life here is the result out of a totally different culture. With real technology, with real natural science driving inventions, and all of this. Like that's
and self-control.
Yes, yeah, and self-control too,
and morals, and
yes,
yeah.
You import people from the third world, you turn your country into a third world. It's simple as that. The difference between a first world and a third world are the people.
Yeah. Wait 1 second here, KJ. Here. Okay, good. But here you have to keep the dogs inside. My sons wanna go to the barber shop, getting a haircut.
You're not going?
Look,
You're not going with them?
Look,
he already shampooed his hair earlier.
I said, look here, I don't need the barber shop. I have a machine. In 2 minutes, I'm done.
It's way cheaper.
Yeah, that saves money. So, and now the dogs will start barking. Oh no, they're silent. That's funny actually. But normally they're freaking completely up. So, yeah, I mean, yeah.
To try and pull it back to Vigilante real quick. In making that movie, you obviously knew that it was going to create a bit of a shitstorm. Was that the point? You said earlier to wake people up. Was that the point? Or were you sort of trying to make, because I know that a lot of your movies, you've got a kind of a style, and it very much fit the style of the movies that you make. And I thought it was really good. But did you sort of want to create that firestorm as well, or was it purely just a good sort of angle to make another movie?
Both. I know it was like, look, I did right before that movie Run. What was also with Amanda Plummer, James Russo. I don't know if it's out in Australia, but this movie plays in Italy, and it's like a holiday island, and it's like, but the boats coming in every day, And I show one day a boat come in, and you have like the local people. They don't make any money anymore because too many refugees coming to the island. And so they're basically mad that the boats the rubber boats coming in from Africa. So now you have a situation where one guy, like most of the refugees then getting registered and whatever, and they are kind of in a camp. But two guys are drug dealers, so they're getting picked up already. And it shows like if you have a full boat with refugees, you have all kinds of people. Right, so you maybe have a few bad apples and whatever. And one guy takes a kid as a hostage, and there is a scene, and that was for me the key scene where I did the movie. So that guy has that kid, and now a professional diver comes from behind and shoots this guy with a harpoon from behind, but he collapses on the kid and kills the kid with the machete. So they're both dead. The kid is dead, and the guy is dead. And then comes that situation where that woman, the professional diver, she gets arrested for manslaughter. Oh. And her father says to the police, you let her out of jail, that no refugees, no manslaughter. Without these guys, there would be nothing happened. And there would be, so she tried to save the kid. But of course, they're transporting her away out of the city. And then the father, James Russo, and his buddy attacking the camp. Like the migrant camp, and there's a huge, like, kind of a massacre in the end. That movie got good reviews, no problem with anybody.
Sorry, what was the movie again? What was the name of the movie?
I think I've watched it. Run. The name is Run, and it's.
I think I've watched it late at night because I love James Russo.
Yeah,
I didn't realize you directed that.
Yeah, I will send you the trailer, or we have a chat function here. I can get the trailer,
or just send it to me on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, on Facebook later. So
this is amazing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I watched this 2 years ago, late at night. I love James Russo.
Yeah, and
Jesus
and it's
Christ.
also, and it was a warning, like kind of a more in a drama, because a lot of side plots, and it all plays only one day. So it was kind of a warning, like, look, if we get, like, if you overdo it and you get too much, you destroy it all. You destroy the city is bankrupt. Everything is only about the refugees. What basically happened in Lampedusa in Italy, right? That island is toast. And and then I felt, because the subject matter is nagging on me, like whatever, I felt, okay, they need something harder. They need something like so blunt that the last person wakes up and gets it. And that is why I wrote Citizen Vigilante, right? So I felt like, okay, so now I don't try to be evening out. Now I focus on just crime and the guy who goes for it, And then this Hamburg cases in Hamburg, that mass rape case, there were 2 mass rapes where the people didn't went to jail. The judge was all whiny about the not the victim, about the perpetrators, like all the poor perpetrators. And so, and all this stuff. And I used that case for the gang rape in my movie. And then also this kind of two-faced, the sister sees the rape, but she's not doing anything about it. She thinks like all these Western girls are whores, because they don't cover up and stuff like this. That's all happening. That's all true. And that's, I think, the point to shoot a movie like this, to have this kind of, the law enforcement, the governments, they all totally dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Like they're covering up heavy crimes. The courts are not putting people into jail who are crystal clear, like violent gangsters.
I just wanted to say we've got the same problem here. It seems to be a worldwide problem. Yeah. An Iranian national who drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl in her bedroom will not be deported or jailed and will keep receiving taxpayer-funded NDIS support while living freely in the community, which is disability for us. Arash Farzad spiked a mother and her daughter with benzodiazepines during a fake job interview, then raped the 13-year-old while threatening to cut her throat. He told psychiatrists he had sexual interest in girls of 13 because Ozzy Osbourne was with a 13-year-old and he wanted to try it out. I don't know how true that is. I haven't fact-checked it. But the truth is, and the fact is, we've had a heap of them. But we've had a heap of these people being let go. We just had all over the news a Chinese student, so it's not just Islamists, but a Chinese student that filmed 150 women in a public toilet because he wasn't sure what gender he was, and then the judge let him free. The judge let him free. Get this, because it endangered his degree, and he was studying to be a doctor here in Melbourne, Australia.
But
it's absurd.
It's exactly. It's like basically Catch-22. You remember that movie or whatever? Like where it's you live in the balloony world. When I was at the third rating, the rate when Germany didn't give the movie a rating, right? It's not allowed to basically put now on Amazon Prime in Germany.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous. So you have to watch it in Austria or Switzerland with a VPN to watch it and you buy the Blu-ray in Austria and then they ship it to Germany. And people from the rating system, they were gendering the whole time, talking, right? So when you talk, like we say whatever, she or he or whatever, like it's this kind of, the attorney would say this. They would always say the attorney and then the female form additional. So there were a 40-year-old man who are so trained their brain that they actually could gender talk. Like this kind of, it would be too exhausting for me to do all this, right?
Yeah.
I say the plumber is not coming. I'm not saying, or the plumber girl. What I don't even know how to say it in English.
Yeah.
But in Germany, you put a different ending to a word then. And they were like
Tommy's a cis man.
Yes, something like this. So they were like, but they were like naturally talking like this. And I was looking at looking at them, and then I know I will never get a fucking rating here. That's 100% wasted time to show them the movie 3 times, and even after the 3rd time, I didn't get the rating. But that showed to me like there are so worlds now in between how people look at reality or they look at things, that's the problem. That's the real problem. Like, you cannot reach these people anymore. They're completely spaced away into no man's land, and you're like, okay, whatever. I mean,
they've built a false reality that they live in, and for them, you have to play by their rules, or they don't listen. So, you were never going to get a rating, not just because of the movie, but because you didn't tell them that you were a boy or a girl, and to call yourself a he or a him or a it. So, you weren't playing their rules from the start. So they didn't want to know you.
No, but they also were able, in a way, to get in all that positions. I think that was also, I have to say, I have no interest in being in the political, like doing political work or whatever. I make movies, and I cannot sit in a sticky room in the bar and put posts on that, like going around and working my way up in a political party to come in any position. And I think they were doing all of this. I mean, they were actually putting the work in. There were these kids in school nobody wanted to play soccer with. And so instead, they're ruling now the country. I mean, that's also a thing, right? When you see in the German parliament and the German government, there are so many total losers who are basically, they would never make it in any other job. But they worked their way up, and they are now like health minister, defense minister, like shit like this. Ursula von der Leyen, like the boss of the EU now, she was like German defense minister, got fired by Merkel. Then they didn't know what they want to do with her. Then they put her into the EU, right? So like they put her to Brussels because the Christian Democrat under Merkel, they didn't want her anymore. And as usual in the political parties, everybody falls soft, right? They're not getting fired like you're a fucking idiot. Go and be, like whatever. No, it's like
we call them ambassadors here.
Yes, they go. Then you go to a different country to work in the consulate. Yeah. So do you all fall like soft? And these people are now in the driver's seat. They are in all the political parties. The Klingbeil, like the co-chancellor from the Social Democrats, and is the Minister of Finance. He is proud to be an Antifa member, like proud in interviews, like, I was Antifa, whatever. Wow. And he is never studied anything, never finished the high school. So he has no qualification to be a finance minister. Like he's just basically completely unusable. And you see that in, of course, all the interviews when then experts ask him about something, whatever. If you tell him what happens when the interest rate goes up 0.25%, he has no fucking clue what they're talking about. So it's like, no, but that's the truth, right? So he's the boss of like 28,000 people working for him, but he has himself no clue about the economy, and of course makes one shitty decision after the other. And but that's now the politicians who ruling us. And so
that's all of them.
Yes,
it's all of them.
Horrible.
It's a worldwide phenomenon. These people can't get out of university.
But they find other losers. They find all the other losers and give them a job as well. And they're like, you weren't able to play soccer at school either, were you? jump on board. You can probably be the finance minister. I've never done that before. Don't worry about it. It's not hard. Just make it up. That's what we're
That's
doing.
actually a good analogy. It's all the kids that were bullied or didn't make the soccer
Can't
team.
run 100 meters.
Yeah.
No, and they're so righteous, right? So they're totally righteous. And they are sitting then in their suit in the TV discussions and getting invites and invites and invites. And it all looks, because the public TV in Germany is also paid by the taxpayers, so the government controls them too. So it's this kind of, it all looks fine on the outside, right? But then the results are catastrophic. And, where look at before the Green Party, the last government, the Green Party was in it, and Habeck was the economy minister, and he is a child book writer. And then
he's a what writer?
he wrote
Child
books for children.
Children's books.
Yeah, children's books.
Okay.
And then he was the economy minister of Germany. And so then when Merkel made the decision, we shut down our nuclear plants during Fukushima, and then the Russian war started, and we didn't get any more Russian gas. They still blowed up all the nuclear, like they shut down the nuclear plants. They blowed up other like oil driven stuff. And then they had to go, because now we're out of energy in Germany. So they had to go to Qatar and the US and buy liquid gas, right? So what is as the Green Party, it's the worst you can do for pollution, the worst you can do for the environment, because it comes with big tankers. So they gave up any kind of, okay, we're the Green Party. They were just righteous and like, we're not taking any more gas from Russia. They made one horrific decision after the other. And then the German industry walked away, produced in China, now in the US, and everything goes down the drain in Germany. Like, look at when you look into the German situation, the car industry, the chemical industry, they omitted like 400,000 or 500,000 jobs in the last 2 years. VW, like the biggest car maker in the world, they are like close to bankruptcy. It's like, and it's all the
we've got the same here.
They have nothing.
We've got plenty of liquid gas for you to buy. You just got to buy it off Japan after we give it to them
for free.
We've got the same here.
We're giving it away.
Yeah. Like, sorry to interrupt.
We're not allowed to use it. We're not allowed to use the uranium, the coal, and the oil and gas that we dig out of the ground here.
Or sell it.
Or sell it. We'll just give it away.
Yeah, we give it away.
So sorry, Yui, to interrupt. This is how fucked Australia is. We have got the biggest natural resources in the fucking world with uranium, gas, all of this stuff. So, but it's bad for the economy. So instead of
environment,
for the environment.
Yeah.
So we don't use it here, but instead of saying, well, we're going to protect the environment, so we're not going to mine any of that, we just send it overseas. We send it overseas to China.
Mostly to China.
In return, China gives us wind turbines for like fucking, I think each one is $5 million each fan that we buy. It is nuts.
Yeah, fan.
No, but it's the shift, right? So I think China is the only country right now completely unemotionally taking advantage out of everything, and they think the whole time, the Europeans, the Americans, Australia, they're all like out of their minds, and we have to use it in our advantage, right? So that's they are completely, they have no emotions to all this shit, and they would also never accept mass migration from anybody. So and they in a way they're very clever. So that's how I see it. But as we are moral-driven countries now, everybody thinks it's a God-given right that I have my lifestyle, if I do something for it or not. And and we will all suffer the consequences. I'm more worried about my kids, not about my own. I think I will make it out whatever. Hopefully I'll live another 25 years, but I will make it out half-ass through the disaster. But I don't see how we are all looking in 30, 40 years. I mean, it will be total mayhem, like Mad Max Part 5. It's like crazy. And that's worrying me, because I feel we could turn it around with like common sense, and really thinking about, okay, that makes sense, that doesn't make sense. And we can never survive or have any moral or whatever without a functioning economy. When you don't have jobs, when you don't have like a real industry, when it's all bullshit basically, and all made out of debt, like, okay, let's go deeper in debt and pay all this shit. That's what politicians in Germany at least doing, the best was that I'm out of time here, so I have to stop the interview.
Sorry, we didn't even ask you how long we've got you for. Sorry. It's just been very interesting.
Yeah, no, they did, like in Germany, they had a cap on the debt, and then when the new government came, they said, look, we do 1 trillion, but it's not debt. It's an investment in the future, right? So, and then they said, because of the Ukraine war, we have to invest more in the government, we have to, in the military, we have to invest more, blah, blah, blah. And then within a year, they completely abused this 1 trillion extra investment money, what was, of course, extra debt, because they owe it. They abused it for everything. Like for everything. They don't use it for the infrastructure. They don't use it for the military. They 80% went in all the holes they had to fill. And the big hole was, of course, we spend 100 billion a year for the migrants. That's the reality. It's like when you're really adding the costs up, it's like you're on 100 billion a year in Germany, spending on people that don't work. They bring the inner security in danger. They bring nothing to the economy. They will not pay our pensions, how they always say. That's all total bullshit. And, that's the thing. And the only country in Europe, I have to say that in the very end, the only country in Europe, what counts the cost of migrants, like the real cost, is Holland, Netherlands. And they put a list out last week, and they're coming in, like if some person from Scandinavia goes to Holland and works, they make 200,000 profit on that person within 3 years. All the people from Africa, Middle East, around 500,000 loss within 3 years against the economy per person, right? Not per family, per person. 500,000 within 3 years in cost, because they are counting it correct. They don't do only like, okay, they get $2,500 a month. No, they correcting the school costs, public transport, free books in school, free health care, apartments, furniture, all this shit. What they're getting as package, right? They're coming with a suitcase, so now they're getting an apartment, but they don't get an apartment without furniture. They buy. There are companies, they're making money bringing the furniture in this apartment. So the Dutch are the only ones who put that numbers together, and it's horrible for every other European country, because they don't want that number out there. They accounting. They have so many different pots where they hide the real costs of 5 million people in the country living on us. They try everything to hide it.
80% of taxpayers' money go to people that don't pay tax.
Yes, but when I file my taxes, they're coming every year, or you try to write down these 2 dinners. And it was a private dinner, so we took the $700 out of your like shit like this. Every year they penny pinch on every dollar you pay in taxes, and try to get every year more for your when you own your house. The taxes on your house go up every year. The same shit. My health care goes up at least 10% a year more costs for health care. But why? And then you go to the hospital and you have like 50 fucking guys in front of you who all bring nothing to the table, but go for every shit to the hospital. Like stuff
Yes.
like this. I mean, that's the fact.
Yeah.
And I mean, sorry, there's nothing positive about this.
No.
No.
No, you're singing the same song that we're singing here in Australia, and I guarantee it's happening in a lot of other places too. We're seeing it on the news. We're seeing it everywhere. It's happening everywhere at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Can I just ask you? Have you got time for 5 minutes? I wanted to ask you 2 questions before you go.
Okay.
Speak quickly.
Yeah,
Quick.
Elon Musk. How did that happen? Like he just started promoting Citizen Vigilante. Did he get in contact with you, or has he been in contact with you?
No, so what happened was, I think he saw the trailer on X or whatever and liked it. Then he sent a direct message to to Gary Otto, my US podcast partner from Over Boll Raw, and Gary WhatsApped me and said, "We got a message from Elon Musk," and I told him, "Yeah, the parody account, right?" I mean, I was like not really thinking it's actually Elon Musk. Send him a message. But then it turned out it was Elon Musk. And then he asked, like, okay, so he said, that was basically, I think he said, "I like the film. Can I show this?" Right? So, and then I had to call Quiver, the distributor, and said, "Look, I think Elon Musk wants to screen the movie for free on X." And then we had we said basically, yeah, but not like the whole time, like whatever, like you can screen it for a day or something, like just to put the movie out, because a lot of countries, including Germany, was like not showing it. So, and then we said, okay, you can do it for 48 hours. And then he did it for 48 hours. But I never talked to him, and I never, it was just this direct message to X. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Second question.
Thank you so much.
And the last question is, Wayne and I, no, we said 2 questions.
Yeah.
And the second last question is, Wayne and I were talking about, because we've both watched the movie, and there's 2 scenes in the movie where we're like, he's lost us a little bit, but we were talking about it, so you put it in our brain. Because there's 2 things that we did. We thought he's an anti-hero, but he did 2 things that are terrible. First of all, he drives at the car, and it's an innocent person that got killed. The cops, he's got a kill room, and he kills the cops. I have to admit, I was sort of okay with that because of COVID. I was like, well, you fuckers basically became Stasi, but we were like, well. But I see the point that you're trying to make. And now, having talked to you and having listened to the Patrick Bet-Davis interview, I believe, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you're actually saying, okay, people want to take it into their own hands, but it's actually not okay if you put it in their own hands, because they can just start killing random people.
Yes.
I think yes.
Yes, no, you're totally right, because it's like the thing, like when you had the Henry Novak case, right, and then they burned down whatever a house with migrants.
Yep.
That's bullshit, but understandable, right?
Yes.
So that's kind of the same situation where I say, look, if you overdo it, innocent people will get killed. The law and order is gone, and we have total mayhem. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. What they're not aware is, like, we don't want total chaos. We want that the existing governments getting the curve and doing it. And for me, it was also important to have like Sanders, the guy, is not a hero. He's just he has a military background. He's kind of cold. You feel he was growing up in this kind of boarding schools, but he's able to do what he's doing, So I feel that with the car, I had a lot of thoughts about the car too, and Army Hammer also. But I felt we have to make this point. What he makes there very hard is people stay in their lane, even if it's absurd. That is what he proves there, right? He goes in their lane and he basically says, look, he just has to change the lane, but he's too stupid to do it. So he's dead, right? Basically. So that's very hard. But life can be very hard too, especially if things coming into action what nobody stops anymore. You know, like when you have the purge going on, you know, then a lot of people will get dying. It's not necessary that they die if you have proper immigration laws, proper migration laws, proper penalties. So, and with the police, I mean, he warns the police, right? So he stands there in his bunker in the movie and he says, look, just go. You know, but he doesn't want to get catch. Good. Yeah, you know, that's the thing also. And so I try to show him as kind of a cold individual who's doing in a way the right thing, who says the right things, but he is in a way overboard doing it. You know, it's like kind of almost out of control. And I think that
it's uncomfortable and confronting.
Yes, that was the plan. I mean, in my Rampage movies, the Bill Williamson guy, he kills, of course, way more people as Armie Hammer in Statismo Vigilante, and he kills tons of innocent people. And there was this trilogy. It was kind of an extreme I put out years ago, where you had the feeling, because everything what he says is true. Like Bill Williams, I don't know if you watched the Rampage thing, but
but we're going to.
Yeah, everything what he says is true, but the things he's doing are like absolutely ruthless and so and cynical, right? And but that's the thing. But I think what Armie Hammer, like the Sanders guy in Statismo Vigilante, he really puts it in front of everybody that there is an absurd system now what went away from any form of reality and reality checks. And we need a correction. We cannot, let's say, continue this way without that we will get wiped out. Like we will lose everything we build it. I don't want that. I want to live in peace. And I want to live secure without being like nervous if I'm at a railway station or nervous walking in the fair or that somebody could stab me from behind and stuff like this. I don't want that. And I don't, I want to reverse with this kind of, in general, with this kind of policies. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think you achieved that. I think you achieved that in this movie, and especially after having a chat with you, it's very clear, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm probably going to watch it again, to be honest.
Very good. Oh, especially when you have to pay
it. Just by the way, I watched it for free on YouTube. Good. Watch it for free, but I'm buying it so that the money ends up going when it comes up.
No, that's fair. And a lot of people did that. You know, I'm very happy that we went after the Musk thing to #1 in America on Amazon Prime and, you know, like on Apple, that we were like really getting money back so that I will not lose the money with that movie. And I hope I can get a little money back for my Run movie because it didn't make money. So, you know, that's the thing. But it's also funny when people in the internet said, oh, you make so much money with the movie. No, it was not a big theatrical release. It was just online. And you know, it will make money, but it will not make tens of millions of dollars or something in profit. That's not.
Well, I hope you're wrong on that, Yui.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong too.
Okay. I hope you're wrong, man.
Thanks so much.
You deserve it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Yui. We appreciate your time, man.
The trailer from Run on Facebook then.
Yeah, please.
Yes,
okay,
please.
Oh, perfect.
Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Bye. Thank you very much. And can we have you on again in the future? Whenever you want. Not even a movie. Not even talking about movie. Do you want me to kick you out? I think you're having problems. But can we have you on in the future, Yui? Can you still hear us?
No.
No. All right. That's just us. And I'll try. He's still in the... so I'm going to kick him from studio.
Yeah, do it.